Sustainable Development Goals in the Citizenship Education Program, Analysis of the Chilean Curriculum. This work was made by me and my colleague Gabriela Vázquez. We live in a world where climate change is a reality and the call for action is urgent. The United Nations has proposed the Sustainable Development Goals to address these and other important aspects to secure proper living conditions for our society and those to come. As educators committed to the education of current and future citizens, we need to look for opportunities to include these goals in our lessons. In 1987, the Brundtland Commission report of the United Nations defined sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Almost 4 decades later, there is still so much to do to achieve this outcome. Sustainable Development Goals are a group of 17 objectives with 169 targets and 247 indicators that aim to end poverty, reduce inequality, and fight climate change worldwide. Meeting the Sustainable Development Goals will be measured in part by the extent to which countries include education in global citizenship, sustainable development, and climate change in their national curriculum by 2030. So, it's teachers' responsibility to develop the meaning of these topics and create awarenesses among the students. For that reason, it is fundamental that teachers know the opportunities that the national curriculum offer and search for the best strategies to approach these concepts. Citizenship education used to be approached in the Chilean curriculum as one of the contents of history, geography, and social sciences. By 2020, it became an independent subject, mandatory for students in year 3 and 4 of secondary education taught by history teachers. As a methodology, a documentary analysis of the two programs of citizenship education was carried out. A total of 16 learning outcomes were identified in the two levels review. Then, data coding was carried out. This was done using tables based on Flick's proposal for data coding, analysis, and interpretation. For the third grade, the goal with the most significant presence is the 16, followed by 10 and 4. The first two are presented together in two learning outcomes that seek to develop the institutions of the democratic system. This situation should encourage the didactic work of these elements in a synchronized manner. One element to highlight is the absence of the goals related to number 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, 13, 14, and 15. This situation can be seen as a preponderance of first generation human rights of civil and political aspects over social and economic or collective ones. In the case of fourth grade, the goals with more presence are 10 and 16, followed by 1 and 5. As in the case of third grade, these goals are closely linked and are presented together. This situation will imply that if we look at the school curriculum from the perspective of the Sustainable Development Goals, we can group the learning outcomes according to structural axes based on socially relevant themes that allow the development of these themes as a whole from the perspective of the contents, skills, and attitude involved. It also highlights the absence of the goals that we believe are vital for strengthening students' citizenship and democratic competencies, such as 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14, and 15. To conclude, we can state that Although the primary purpose of this program is not necessarily oriented toward achieving sustainable development goals, when we analyze the learning outcomes, there are many opportunities to work with students on this content. Another important aspect to state is that the program's approach to citizenship is still traditional, considering a preponderance of first generation human rights reflected on Sustainable Development Goal number 16, which has the most prominent presence in the learning outcomes of the citizenship education program. Thank you very much.